Okay, if you notice that I am someplace else and I'm a more reclined space, it's because I am not in my apartment. I am in B's apartment right now. So if you watch this in the replay, this is a story time. And I am, kind of like in your face right now. But I just had a really interesting, I just had an interesting kind of semi argument conversation on Facebook that I wanted to share with you all. And I'm calling it When Karen's Attacked, basically, because shit. Um, so this is what happened. Earlier today, just randomly, I wrote this statement. And the statement is that oftentimes I've been asked what my racial makeup is. Hey, my Lisa, I'm glad to see you. How's your head? What race am I? And I always say black and black. And I said, and then of course, a lot of times people then reiterate. They come back at me with, you're one of the lightest black people I've ever seen, right? Hey, cousin, you're one of the lightest black people I've ever seen, right? Uh, so I'm like, well, okay, well, here's my answer to that is when you look at me, and I've said this to people, when you look at me, you think, what is this black woman mixed with? And I say, now you don't say, what is this Asian woman? What is this white woman? What is this Hispanic woman? Whatever. What is she mixed with? You say black. So you have your answer. I am black. Because I have a thing, because when you clearly you think I'm black. So why are we going, but you want to define me, by something else because I couldn't be, this has got to be something else, right? So I just posted that up. Now, am I offended by that? No, it's just a statement of fact. This has happened over the years. I have been kind of like debated on my own racial makeup when I'm telling somebody what I am. I am black. I am black, right? My mama black, my daddy black. So a Karen, we will call her, got put herself inserted herself in this conversation, and that's fine, if you want to say something. So then she went on and say, why do you have to not say both? I said, well, I'm not both. This is the whole point of this conversation, is that I am not both. I am of black descent. My parents are black. My mama, my daddy, they black. So somebody else got into it, and they went back and forth, and she called the girl race. She said she was racist. And so it went from there, and it went from there. So it goes back and forth and back and forth. And I kept saying, I'm confused on what is your problem with what I said. What I said is, my parents are black, and I said I'm black. But then she went into this. The other thing she went into was the exotic. It's so mixed, right? It's exotic. That's. Let me just say this for hey Kelly for. Let me just say this. Saying that mixed race people are exotic to a black will get you clean the fuck out. Just get you cussed to clean the fuck out. That is so. That's just so. Just so irritating. But my whole point is that I'm black. No matter what color I am. No, when you look at me, you see a black woman. So why are you even questioning my ethnicity? Right? Why are you even questioning me? And then if I say I'm black, so this woman went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I kept saying, I'm confused. What is your problem with what I said? I said I'm a black person. And so I'm just answering what I am. I am black. And when you look at me, you see black. You just decide that there might be something else, and and that is not what you see as my predominant ethnicity. You see me as a black person. So then, to add insults to this shit, right? She then towards the end says, Because I kept saying, I'm confused. And she kept saying, offended by this. I said, I'm not offended by anything. I'm just making a statement of fact. This happens, and this is how I respond. I can write the fuck what I want. But I find it quite interesting is how she, how she really was trying to make this about being offended. And here's the thing about that. That is a very Karen thing to do, is to say that somebody's offended. I'm not offended. I'm not offended. And I kept asking, I said, I'm confused on why do you have a problem with me being proud to say that I'm black? Because I'm black. She then says, "Are y'all ready for this?" For the people who didn't see the text, she then goes on to explain to me that she has been a follower of mine for years, and she has seen my pictures of my father, and he's white. He's white with blue eyes. So then somebody had to come back and say, "No, her father is very light skinned with blue eyes, but he is a black man." She was like, I'm like, yeah, and I'm still trying to figure out how the fuck you gonna tell me my parentage. Now she had the audacity, hi Tracy, to explain to me my fucking parentage, my parents. She had to explain to me. I didn't listen. It just went on and on, Dion, right? But I just was confused. I was just confused, Dion. I was like, I just kept saying, that I'm confused with why we're having this conversation. I was kept saying because other people were saying, right. She explained to me that she's been a follower of mine, and that my father is white. What? You better tell my black aunts and uncles about that then, because I can send you the rest of the pictures of the family, and you're gonna be like, what? Yeah. And then at that point, I said, I don't understand what's going on here, because now you're gonna tell me what my parentage is, and that's when she blocked me. She said, "This is getting crazy." So how? So by me saying that my father was black, that fucking blew her mind. And she then, right, right, Angel, you ain't know Uncle Red was white, did you? You didn't know that, right? Who knew? Right, right. I mean, but the funny part was when it came down to that point, and and it was like, no, I'm confused why you're telling me what my father is. That's when she was like, what the hell, this is crazy, and blocked me. Like this, I can so I guess I was okay, which is interesting because normally that's not the way it goes. I guess, as long as she felt like I was exotic and mixed race, I was okay. you but once she found out, wait a minute, these motherfuckers is black, let me get away from this black girl. Let me get away from this black girl, because how dare, what? Right, apparently I was okay when I was mixed, but when I had the audacity to say my daddy was black, which is interesting in 2020, because normally when I was growing up, that was the opposite thing. They didn't want me, they didn't like me because they thought I was mixed. If back in the day, yeah, yeah. Apparently I'm not, because there's such a beauty in exotic. Yeah, and the funny thing was is that I kept saying, and she kept saying this thing about mixed, and then finally I had to say biracial for multiracial. I said, that would be something. But I'm not denying anything. She was on this whole that you're, right, right. She kept saying, why do you have to deny? And I'm like, but I'm not denying anything. I'm a black woman. I mean, I think that just fucked her whole understanding up to find out that I actually have black parents. That I'm not some like exotic Hispanic, that, I'm an Afro Latina, or I'm, biracial. As soon as I said that my parents and everybody, and I didn't even get to tell her because I hadn't even seen it. And one of my friends was like, no, right. How dare I be black? And it was like that was her problem. And she felt like I was being offended. And I'm like, I'm not offended. Um, you know, I'm not offended by the conversation. It was just a statement of what happens, over the years this has happened. And this is how I explain it, because when they come back at me like, "Oh, you're so light skinned," I mean, I've literally had somebody tell me, "You're one of the lightest I've never seen. You're so light." Yeah, yeah, and that's what I told him. I said, "Yeah, but when you looked at me, you saw a black woman. So you didn't ask this white woman what is she mixed with. You asked this black woman what is she mixed with. So clearly, you know what I am. I'm black." But she was like, no, I just don't. So I guess she felt like I was denying her because, for me, I want to say, what, because I'm pretty, I got to be not black. I'm confused. Right. And that's what I said. I didn't see any offense in this. And that's what it was like, wow, this is getting crazy. And that's what she blocked my black ass. Right. Danny, you should. You should be like, what do you mix with? Well, that's what she said. Well, but see, here's the thing. When they speak of being mixed with something, they're speaking of another ethnicity that is Caucasian. Like if they say they're mixed with something, they might say they are, like they are English and Swedish, or German and, Scandinavian, whatever, Russian, whatever. They're not saying they're African. Is she gonna come back? And I've never heard a white woman say, "I am black. I'm black and white." You know what I'm saying? That's not what you're saying when you say. Because she's like, "Well, there's no offense in that." No, because you're saying, two different European nations, right? Oh yes, don't call me well spoken. Right. I'm like, so you're mixed with two different, but are you talking about like, but are you willing to say that you are black? No, you're talking about like, no, 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 no. Right. I'm just like, so what does that mean? Because I don't see any of you. I don't see you or your friends saying you have black. But I mean, I'm just amazed, and you have to be amazed at the audacity of the conversation, and then to call someone racist. Well, no, you have prejudices. We are not racist, but we might be prejudiced. Okay, you know. Yeah, don't call me articulate, well spoken. Oh my God, you've never seen. You're so well spoken. Keep that shit to yourself. I don't like that exotic term either. But I mean, it was like once the conversation became that my father actually is black, right, social, and that's why it was. See, I was trying to figure out why she kept going back and forth with me, and then right, and she doubled down so fiercely, and then had to check me on who I am, on my lineage. That's when it was like, wow, this has gotten really insane. But that's that whole thing. So I guess in order to say accept me, to accept me and say that she likes my conversation and that I'm a mixed chick, which is different in 2020 because mixed, being biracial, they sure didn't want to claim you then, but I guess that's um right. I'm like, you know my ethnic makeup is black. I'm a black chick. Hi. Hi, Diana. Yeah, I just had a Karen moment. Yeah. it was very interesting. Hey Alicia, it was interesting, I, and then it was like she was like, and then it was like, well, he's very Pharisee, and then she wanted to explain, and I wanted to tell her, well, you better tell my grandmother and my grandfather in their graves that they ain't black either, because yes, my grandmother was very fair, my grandfather was brown skin. So what? They're still black people. When they walked down the street, when they was living down south of Mississippi, they was black. When nobody looking at my grandmother and calling her a white woman, she was black, and she had to deal with the black experience in Mississippi in the early 1900s. So when my grandmother and my grandfather were down there in Mississippi, you know, and Lord, good Lord, if she saw my cousin right here, this one right here, she make me look. I mean, Kara make me look like I'm tan and shit, as pale as she is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I love you, cousin, but you are pretty damn pale. Um, right? But yeah, so Daddy. And it was just like amazing though that she was explaining this. She was explaining this. And here's the thing. And real talk, my father is the lightest of all of them. Now Kara doesn't know my father because he was gone by then. You know, right, right. Black in Mississippi is extra black no matter what color you are. And you know what I'm saying? So my father was the palest one of all, and I ain't the palest one. Okay, hello, it just works that way sometimes. I'm like, child, 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 child. But like, and let me say that, and this is a true statement. The what we deal with now is this emboldened aggression based on the fact that they have someone in power. Hi, Candace, that co-signs this bullshit that they do. Because, this is the way of the world that they're going to check. They're going to check a black person. They're going to check a person of color because they got somebody in office that is, there to tell them that what they doing is right. Right. And if we are paid, like, then, and here's the thing, I guess for her to accept me, to accept who I am, and to say she's following me and admires me, I had to have some white in me. Clearly that's what made it work, because as soon as the heifer found out that I was black and black and blacker, she's like, bitch, I'm blocking your ass. I can't be bothered with your black ass ever again. Oh, Diane, you came in late. Okay, so here's the story in a nutshell. I did a post speaking on, as a black person, I'm just saying, I'm just saying that clearly, she could follow me and admire me, as long as I was an exotic peacock and shit. Right, yeah. Yes, oh yeah. Right. So what I said was, it was a post on, and I said that, so over the years I have pretty much, I have been asked, what am I? What is my ethnicity? What race am I? And I've always said I'm black and black. And then a lot of times, or black is in black, right? And so, hey Bella, bless. And so my statement, I said, and my response to that is, when they say that to me is, um uh that we, when you look at me, you see a black woman and you think, what is this black woman mixed with? You don't think, what is this Asian white Hispanic woman, what is she mixed with? So there's your answer, I am black, because what you see is a black woman. So you see what I am, you see I'm a black woman. So a lady, a Karen, decided to get in here and say, why can't you be both? Um, so I kept asserting and I kept asking myself, I'm confused on why you're saying this, considering that both of my parents are black. I kept reiterating over and over again, I'm speaking from my experience and I am a black person. That's what I am. I ain't got no problem with it. Black and I'm proud. And so she went on and on about this. And I kept saying, I'm speaking about this from this space. And then she went on to explain to me that she has been a follower of mine for years, a supporter of mine for years, and that she's seen seen my pictures, I guess, of my father, and he's white skinned with blue eyes. So then another friend of mine had to get on there and say, right. So another person had to tell her, well, yeah, her father is light skinned with blue eyes. Uh, so I'm black. But see, here's my thing, Alicia. No, there isn't. But my thing is that you know, yeah, of course, but when you look at my father's birth certificate, he's a black man. When you look at you go down the list, everybody black. So I'm black. And then we're not going to go back and forth because we are a rainbow of people. I have a rainbow family, and so she went on to explain to me that my father was white. And I'm like, no, he was not. So somebody said, you know, and so when that came out and I said yes, and I've said this over and over again to I said no, my father is light skinned with blue eyes, but he is a black man. My father was a black man. That she was like, oh my god, this is crazy, and blocked me. So as I was saying, so that's why I said so clearly, um being a supporter of mine and everything was based on the fact that she felt like I was, biracial. Once hearing that I am just a black woman, right? Yes, blocked me on Facebook. So once she found out I was a black woman, then it was like, let me block this a black hole. Which is so interesting because I'm assuming she thought of herself as very liberal. I'm thinking she thinks of herself as very liberal. But there was no, like, for instance, I have biracial nieces and nephews. Shit, I got biracial, but it was that shit. Fuck, I was like, wow. Yeah, once I established the fact and said again that my father is a black man, that's when she blocked me and said, this is crazy. And that was the end of that. She blocked me. I kid you not. I cannot make this shit up. I cannot make this shit up. Matter of fact, I will block her name out and post it on my community page so y'all can see it. The moment when it fucked her head up and she said, wow, this is crazy, and blocked my black ass. Right. We know all about that. We know all about that. Right. That was my whole point. But for her, I guess all this time, that was the killer part. I mean, like, for real, that was the killer part because I kept saying my parents are black. So this, both my parents are black. But it was like, and so, but that makes sense. Her whole argument with me because, this, hi Claire Whitfield, you're brand new. Welcome, welcome. But it was so but then it made sense to me, that's why she kept going back and forth with me, because I guess her point was, and I guess her other point, but see, here was the other point. Now let's get the other point, was how dare I not want to claim being, biracial? How dare I not want to claim my whiteness? Because in her mind, I was white too. right? I was white too. So therefore, I was denying this side of me that I should be celebrating, right? Exactly. And then to find out after all this time that I'm just a plain old black chick. I'm just a plain old black chick. Boom. That fucked her understanding up. That must have blown her mind. Like, this bitch is black. What the fuck? I thought she was exotic. I thought she was biracial. She was multiracial. How the fuck? So I've been listening to just a black chick and listening to her and going, yes, because this woman has something to say. You know what I'm saying? That's what she was saying to herself. I'm seeing the disbelief that just came over her in that mind-blowing moment. Hi, Lala, to find out that she had been listening to a black woman's words and internalizing them and thinking so, that, you know, I can't believe that I was listening to a black woman. And she's not Oprah. Because I'm sure she listens to Oprah because, they love Oprah. But she's not Oprah. And I just, so, hey, who's who? How are you? Hey, Lala. Yeah, so, I mean, she was, I think, so it fucked her whole understanding about who I was. Because she has been. She been following me since Periscope. So she's been following me for, damn close to 5 years. I'm just saying. Chrissy, I'm telling the truth. They love some Oprah. Oprah transcends. She does. Um, so I mean, it must have just blew her fucking mind. Like right now, she is pouring herself a glass of wine and trying to forget everything that she has listened about me. You know, it's so she's probably sitting around going, I think so. I think so, Tracy. I think that moment it fucked her whole understanding up. You know, I mean, hey, that's what I'm saying. They love her. I think it fucked her whole understanding up to find out that I'm just black, that I'm not Hispanic, that I'm not Puerto Rican, that I'm not Cuban, that I'm not, all these other things. But I'm just a black girl. I'm just a black woman living a black life around black people, you know. Right. You know, I mean, I should post that up in Facebook. The moment a white person finds out that I am not mixed, that I am not biracial, and blocks my ass, because I mean, the bitch blocked me. She probably is right now blocking me on all social media. She's probably blocking me on IG because I'm pretty sure she follows me on IG. I think she follows me on here. She might be a subscriber. Oh, I'll post that shit. Um, Anybody who knows me, who's on my Facebook page, absolutely knows I'm about to do that as soon as I get off of here. Absolutely going to do that when I get off of here. Um, but I just had to share that because I was just that shit amazed me. I mean, but and you have to understand I'm 53, so I come from a time. I have not been on Periscope in years. I come from a time when um that was the total opposite. So see, she was calling herself being progressive, and it fucked her head up because there was a time when, of course, white people did not want to be didn't you know if they thought you were biracial, they really couldn't stand your ass, because I dealt with that as a kid with white folks, being when back in the 70s. They didn't want, oh hell no, they didn't want to, no, 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 it no, oh, they thought you was, as they, my father and my parents were, you know, um, my parents were, um, I had neighbors that never spoke to us because they thought my parents were a mixed couple. They thought they were a mixed couple. It was the white people who lived next door to me. Did not These older white people never spoke to us. We lived in townhouses. They never spoke to us because they thought my parents. So I get it because my father dealt with that his whole entire life. He used to think shit was funny. He said, matter of fact, he real talk. My father would let sometimes let would because he was like a little spy. He'd stand around and let them talk shit so he could hear what white folks said about black people when they were by themselves. That's why I understand this shit. So it's so funny because that was then. Now in 2020, in order for her to hi, in order for her to feel comfortable, listening to me, clearly I had to um I had to she had to identify with me as being partially white. So it has changed. It really has because so now some of them, in order to but see, that's in order for them to feel semi-liberal, because see, clearly she thought of herself as a liberal, white chick, that has black friends and everything, no, but I think that's the liberal, pseudo liberal, is that you got your friends, and and so I was one of her black friends. I was this black woman that she would listen to, but I'm not all black though. See, so it was okay because I wasn't all black, and then to find out that I'm all black, that fucked her mind about. That just fucked her whole existence up. For I just fucked up her whole existence. Who knew? Who knew? Who knew? Listen, listen. I have I have biracial. I have multiracial family. I'm not sitting up here sitting and I don't care. But it's just like, but I am not. Right. Well, because and if I was, I wouldn't have any problem saying it. You know what I'm, being, it ain't like I'd be like, oh, my daddy's white. Like saying it under my breath because I would be, ashamed of it. I would never be ashamed of. I'm never ashamed of who. I would never be ashamed of who I am. So that's why it was such an interesting conversation. But what it seemed to me is like she felt like, that I was denying my whiteness, and that was offensive to her when I really don't have any. At least, and let me say this, at least on paper. Now, of course, if I did a DNA test, I'm sure some European shit would come up in my DNA. It is what it is because guess what? I'm a descendant of slaves. And so by being a descendant of slaves, there's some European ethnicity in me because massa was all, they was hitting this women in the slave quarters. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. So, yeah, I got some in me. We all got some in us. But, you know what I'm saying? I mean, let's just be real. We all got some because massa hit, because we were not safe from massa, right? So we all got some. But the reality is that when my lineage comes forward, I'm just a black woman. Shit, that's all. Now, if my son or anything has, or beyond, well, being Brandon and B are together, but indeed, right, right. Well, exactly, and but Right. But here was the but see who's who. But the problem was is that I kept saying that I come from black parents. I kept saying, well, my parents are black. And she kept until the point when she explained to me that I wasn't, and then that's when she got offended and blocked me. So when she kept insisting that I was offended by it for some reason, when I'm not offended by it, I was just making a statement of fact. And then to say at the end of it all, well, your father's white. If my father was white and somebody asked me what race I am, I would say I'm biracial. Common sense would say that because that would be my reality. I am biracial. However, no, I really think she was offended because the offense, the total breakdown came when I made the statement and my friend said the same thing, and I corroborate and I said yes, my father is a light skinned, blue eyed black man. Period. Period. And that was the moment when I blew her head off. No, that was the moment her head went poof. And all of her reality of her being, liberal and, have was blown away by finding out that I was just a black woman. I think at some point she didn't hear me when I said my father could have passed if he chose to, but he chose not to. I think she missed that part of the narrative. She must have missed that part. But yeah. So that is when Karen attacks. Because, I was. Right. Right. The conscious liberal actually has to be liberal. There we go. Because I think she really thought of herself as this liberal person, until she was actually found out that, this person she admired. Right. Well, I think what it was is this person she admired was not, that, had the audacity to not be, mixed, which made me exotic. See, it is exotic. I was exotic. You know what I'm saying? I'm exotic because she did say that. The mixing is exotic. It's beautiful and exotic. So I guess I couldn't be beautiful and exotic anymore because I'm just black. Right. Yeah, that's the part, Ash, and I handled it well because when I saw that shit, I was about to cuss her ass out. Right. 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 Exactly. Right. How dare I my Plano? Right. I'm like, so okay. All right now. So I'm not gonna stay on long because I gotta Bakari sleep. He's in the next room sleep. And B and them are coming back with my dinner. Ha ha ha. But yeah, I was just like, wow, okay, okay. This is what we doing now. So yeah, that was my son. That was my and what the funny thing was that shit been up there for hours. I posted that shit up early in the morning. It been sitting there, and it went south. G son is doing really well. He's almost 8 months old. Is it almost 8 months? He's 7 months. Dinner from where? Okay, so Donnie's younger brother just turned 50. Chucky turned 50, and they gave him a seafood boil. And so she did the seafood boil. So they're bringing me my seafood boil home. So it's gonna be a whole lot of food. Right. Right. And that's the thing. She couldn't quite understand how it can be offensive. Yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of food. And I think she made pasta salad, Lisa. So but I had pasta salad the other week, so I don't need no pasta salad. Um oh, for her birthday, yeah. So she got king crab and all kind of food. So I'm hoping they sent me the right food. I know she made some steak. I make boils, remember that. You know, Chicago, we love a good boil right now. And boils are king right now. Well, see, that's my whole point, Lala, is that that's what the statement said. It said, I have come, people have come to me, and said that, so the statement that I made, Lala, just so you know, was that people, because of my complexion, people have asked me what am I mixed with, and I say black and black, like that. And then they'll say, but no, you're so you're so light skinned, fair skinned, or whatever. You have to be mixed with something else. And so, what I always tell them is this: is that when you looked at me, you saw a black woman. You thought, what is that black woman mixed with? You didn't say, what is that Asian, white, Hispanic, whatever else you might think my ethnicity is. You didn't say that first. You said, what is this black woman mixed with? So there's your answer. I am black. So that's what I said. Right. Right. So that's what I said. And so then it went from there. Right. So I'm gonna need, right. She's aware. Everybody's aware of the plan for you, Michelle. You just ain't working with us. Would you just not working with us? So I'm saying you're not working with us. So anyway, so yeah, and then she went on to be say offended, and people are offended, and then she went on to tell, and I kept saying that my parents are black. Okay, right. So I didn't even get that far. I just told my daddy black, and she went on to tell me that how did she didn't quite understand why I kept saying that, because my father, she's been a supporter, and she knows, she's seen my father, and he's white skinned with baby blue eyes. Your sister got enough money to come visit you. So now what? Because your sister got, she got that big bucks, big buck Chuck over there. So, do you know what? Who's who? Let me tell you. It's nothing. It was just a very interesting, because what I've said other things, not in reference to race or anything, but I have a tendency to put out something and just think I'm saying something kind of like, hey, I don't think of that. I don't think of it as being provocative. I think I'm just making a statement of something, or haha, and it will go. Somebody will blow that shit out of proportion. I've been blocked for other things. It was like, and I'm sitting there going, you really, you blocked me over this shit? So I've been blocked before. Right. 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 And that was the whole point, that she wasn't quite understanding that what she said, hi Vicky, in her statements, was basically that beauty comes from the mixing. So what, black women ain't beautiful? Bitch, you crazy. Bitch, you crazy. And that's not to say white women aren't beautiful, Hispanic women aren't beautiful, Asian women aren't beautiful. But I'm so tired of this narrative that black women, and we didn't understand that when it comes down to beauty, black women, when there's been a survey done, a study about this, and we are considered the ugliest as a race, that we are the least attractive. So don't you dare try to make me to say that, basically exotic and beauty comes from mixing with something else, because we really ain't that motherfucker beautiful when we are beautiful. We are beautiful, and we need to own that beauty and stop trying to be something other than the beautiful black women we are. Okay, but that's another thing. I don't even want to go down that path. Okay, so let me get off of here. They're about to bring my food. Thank you all for hanging out. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that's offensive to me automatically. You know what I'm saying? Because I got too many beautiful black family. Fuck you. Okay. All right, y'all. It was good talking to y'all while I'm babysitting. Yeah, I'm about to get. I'm not gonna eat it all though. I think she said to be some steak. I might have a little steak, a little protein at night, and call it a night. All right, y'all. Night night. See y'all later.